Yo, what is going on, guys? Michael here from MP Fitness. Thank you for checking out the newest video to the channel. Today, we're talking hypertrophy training. I get this question all the time. I get somebody that's looking to sign up for personal training. The number one question, especially when they're guys, they ask, do you do hypertrophy training? Like it's a style of training. And I always break down from the very beginning exactly what is essentially hypertrophy training, what's the goal, what's the result, how are you gonna get there? So I'm gonna break down for you guys exactly those steps of what exactly is hypertrophy training. So let's go ahead and get into that video right now. All right, guys, so number one, hypertrophy training, it's not a specific style, it's ultimately a result. And how are we gonna get that result? So number one, it's muscle growth. Hypertrophy means muscle growth, just like atrophy means a loss of muscle. Hypertrophy is when you're having the muscle grow. So how do you do that? And it's very simple. It's adding stress to the muscle and forcing it to adapt. That is what's going to ultimately add muscle size. So you can do that a number of different ways. If you're a beginner in the gym, you're gonna have it a lot easier than somebody that's been in the gym for 10 years. Any kind of stress to the muscle is gonna force it to adapt. So you just doing 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12, 2 sets of 6, that's going to be adding a level of stress to the muscles that they're not used to, which is going to force it, is to kind of send the signals all to your brain, to your body. It's gonna send that signal and be like, hey, yo, I need to grow. It's kind of a defense mechanism. Essentially, hypertrophy training is a defense mechanism to your muscles because they don't want to feel that soreness. They don't want to feel that fatigue. So what they do is they get bigger. The blood flow, the nutrients, everything going to the muscles is what's actually going to help it grow, hence hypertrophy. But number two, and this is the most important part of it, is the nutrition side of it. Because you can do everything right in the gym, but if you're not eating appropriately, your body's not going to grow. You're going to get stronger, but you're not necessarily going to grow. So we're going to break down protein and carbs. So for protein, I always say body weight plus 20 grams is going to be an awesome amount for you to actually grow. So body weight plus 20 grams is going to essentially, I tell your body that it needs to grow more. It's hungry, it's thirsty. When you're working out, protein synthesis is going to be increased to a level to where you're going to actually need more protein than what your body is currently using. So if you're working out, you're adding stress to the muscles, and you're eating 30 grams less than what your current body weight is, do you think you're gonna add muscle with that? Definitely not. You're not going to. Minimum, I say, is body weight. If you're a real hard gainer like myself, man, I always go 15 to 20 grams over what my current body weight is, and that's going to allow your body to just utilize and absorb all of those nutrients that you're gonna get from the protein. It's like the building blocks to muscle is going to be protein, and it's because you're working at such a high rate and your protein synthesis is so high, you're gonna be able to utilize that. It's not like if you're just sedentary eating it, you're gonna get fat. When you're working out, the stress, everything around it, it's gonna allow you to utilize it more. Number two, it's carbs. I get this question all the time, and a lot of people are like, carbs are bad, carbs are bad, carbs are bad. I'm like, yo, you need carbs to actually fuel the muscle. Carbs is going to allow for glycogen to get into the muscle. It's like fuel for the muscle. If you train fasted, you might notice that you're a little bit fatigued. You may not have as much energy, you might not have as much endurance, the pump is not going to be there. But if you're eating carbs, you're eating the right amount of carbs. You're going to actually be able to, literally it's like gasoline. You're going to have more energy, you're going to have more focus. The glycogen, which is you can only get from the carbs, is going to fuel your workout. But how much? I always say anywhere between 2 grams and 3 grams per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200, you're going to need 400 grams minimum, all the way up to 600 grams, depending on where you're at. Start lower and then build up to see how much you actually need to gain weight, because you don't want it to be fat. You want it to be as much muscle as possible. You don't want to spill over into the next day and just be flat and flabby. You want it to be as lean as possible, so you have to be careful with that. But for protein, body weight plus 20. For carbs, body weight times 2 to 3 grams. See how that goes right there. And lastly, the key right here is going to be consistency, and I see it all the time. Guys go to the gym, they're super amped up, super energetic about it. They're in the gym, they're doing their thing, they're eating properly for like 2 weeks. They're like, yo, I don't look like Arnold, I don't look like C-Bum. I'm gonna go ahead and quit because it's not worth it. And then they stop. You can't do that. Your body, it takes time to add contractile tissue. It takes time to add muscle. It's gonna take a lot longer than 2 weeks, right? You might see a little bit of a change in the first month, but you're gonna see a majority of those newbie gains within the first 3 to 6 months. In 3 to 6 months, you're gonna have people telling you how much different you look than what you did half a year ago, which is pretty crazy to see. You're gonna notice the differences in the gym yourself, but it's gonna take time. You're gonna see a little bit of change in that first month, and then you're gonna see bigger changes within that 3 to 6 month period. It takes time. It's all about structure, eating properly, eating consistently, and having what that goal is in the back of your mind and going for it. So that, in a nutshell, is what hypertrophy training is. I appreciate all the support, guys. Subscribe, hit that bell, get notified. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time.